Hi there! No. Maybe.
Wise indeed to set me to this task. I'm an excellent cook. Maybe. This is hardly a palatable ingredient. But if we season it just right, nobody will be the wiser. Wow. I've eaten many meals in my time, but this is divine.
Oh, exquisite! This is exactly the meal I've been craving. Yuri! Halt! How dare you make me run all over the monastery?
Calm down. That was all on you, Shady Lady.
Shady? You know full well I'm sensitive about that. It's as though you wish to be incinerated. What I mean to say is, all shall be forgiven when you do my bidding. I I know. It's an honor I don't extend to many. You have the rare opportunity to aid me in realizing my dream. I shall rebuild House Nouvelle. Nobility will be mine again, and the glory of my esteemed family will once more reign supreme.
Blah, blah, blah. Restore House Nouvelle, blah, blah, blah. Will you just stop? You're making my ears hurt. I am but an insignificant and beautiful creature. Surely there's nothing I have to offer for your plight.
Your facade does not fool me. I know you for what you truly are. With the nobility's backing, Western Fodlan's underworld is yours. Everyone has heard whispers of the savage mockingbird. That is you they refer to, yes? Your time would be better spent laying the groundwork for me to reclaim my title. I envision you using your connections to apply pressure on the nobles in Enbar.
Right. So say I indulge you, that I agree on this killer bird you speak of. What I offer comes at a high price. You do understand that, right, milady? How exactly do you intend to compensate me?
But what greater compensation could I offer than to play a part in restoring House Nouvelle?
Restoration of houses does nothing to put food in my stomach.
I suppose, but rest assured that upon my return to power, you shall be suitably rewarded.
Let me cut through the mud here. You're broke, and you'll pay me after you get what you want. Wow. I love how irresponsible you are. Refreshing.
Then what would you have me do? I have nothing to bargain with now. No status, no wealth.
Perhaps rather than turning to a killer bird for help, you should be bowing before the nobles or some such. Get down on all fours and lick their boots. See what that'll get you. Perhaps you're too prim and proper for that.
Lick their boots? Is tonguing their footwear likely to sway them to my cause?
My work here is done.
No, I was not through with you yet. You come back here! Hey!
Look at the little lady go. And here I thought you wouldn't know a vegetable if it bit you on the nose.
When the occasion calls for it, sure. Although, not sure there's much room left for these ones.
Wow, this is all kinds of tasty. This looks delicious. Let's eat.
Food tastes best when you are sharing it with others. Do you not think so, Dorothea?
Yes. Present company excluded, of course.
Ah, Dorothea. The dining hall seems so much brighter with you here.
30. I must say, you are quite adept with flattery. Please, give me some more.
Flattery? No, I was not... There you go with that attitude again. Why do you reserve such cold treatment for me and me alone? Do you hate me, Dorothea? Or have you some other reason to avoid my company?
I underestimated you. I assumed your noble upbringing had dulled your perception. But you got it right on your first try. I hate you.
Huh, I was right. Might I ask why you find me so despicable? I can scarcely guess.
Don't waste another minute thinking about it.
That will not do. I do not think you would hate a person for no reason.
Perhaps. How's this? If you can guess why, I'll let you know if you're right. The brains of us common folk are so simple, it should be pretty easy for a big shot noble to sort out.
Very well. I cannot walk away from a challenge. I have no choice but to chance a guess. You are always making fun, calling me a big shot and so forth. Perhaps you think all nobles are... No, it cannot be that simple.
Oh? What can't be that simple?
Please, will you not give me a clue?
Well, let me see. A good clue? I know. It's because you're like a bee. That ought to be enough of a clue. So long, Ferdy.
A bee? I haven't the slightest. Perhaps because I am such a diligent worker?
Food tastes better when shared with good company.
While I have little interest in food, I will admit to a weakness for this one dish.
Oh, I love this meal. How did you know?
This is a wonderful dish.
You could sell this in any restaurant in the capital.
I would be liking that greatly.
Captain Gerald and I used to enjoy meals together just like this.
I'm not good, but I'm loud. You might want to run for cover.
Singing is nice, isn't it? The only thing is, I'd prefer to do it without an audience.
Practice yields results.
I still have much to learn. 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 I could do as much in my sleep. All that studying has paid dividends. My efforts bear fruit at last.
Not bad. You're laying it on a little thick. Not bad. Not bad.
Can't say I'm surprised. Go on, sing my praises again. Can't say I'm surprised. All thanks to you.
Couldn't have done it alone. Who am I to turn down praise? Brings back memories. Couldn't have done it alone.
I'm getting much better. Thank you, Professor. I couldn't have done it without you. I'm sure I'll get it again next time. Now I feel like I'm getting somewhere. Yes, very good. Your guidance was greatly useful. You have my thanks for your support. Your guidance was greatly useful.
Constance, do you think you'll be able to work in your present condition?
Let us hope that I prove no barrier to accomplishing our given task.
Indeed. Let's just get through this as best we can, shall we?
A matchless accomplishment, yes? Take note, Your Highness.
You are most fascinating. With that attitude, I feel confident your house will be restored in no time.
The battlefield has much to teach.
As long as it makes me stronger.
I think I got it.
It all makes sense now.
I'm beginning to understand.
I'm a quick study.
I will get the victory.
Leave it to me.
Sure thing.
Oh no.
Let me at him.
I will prevail.
Sally forth!
Yep.
Stay focused.
Is that all? Well, how was that? Now you know your limits. One step at a time.
You were outmatched. There's still a long way to go.
No use.
Anywhere I can hide.
What did I expect?
Here we go. I've been practicing that one. compensate.
This can't be right.
Your defeat was inevitable.
Thanks.
I will not be stopping. Disappointing, but I will not misplace my heart.
You're fresh out of luck. That's life. Yeah.
Appreciated.
I won't let everyone down.
Pardon? Acknowledge my contribution!
Witness my power. One step at a time. Of course I won. I don't have time for failure!
You fought well.
Your defeat was inevitable.
I'll strike you down!
Failure is not an option.
Predictable! It's over! As expected. I'm not setting a very good example.
You underestimated me. I have to try harder. Of course I won. My efforts are paying off.
Sure thing.
Oh no.
Let me at him.
Leave it to me. I just worked harder. I have to try harder. Why is this happening? Got him!
I can improve too, you know.
Not bad. Sally forth! I've been practicing that one. My rise to prominence continues.
The noble standard.
Thank you so much.
I have gratitude.
Thanks so much.
Stay focused.
Let me at him.
Leave it to me.
I will prevail.
I will get the victory.
Sure thing.
Yep. Oh no.
The sun.
Here we go.
Watch and learn.
Well, how was that? I must get stronger. Easy peasy. Ugh. Baby steps, I guess.
I have so far left to go.
Let's dance! Don't forget who you're dealing with. Luck is on my side.
Well, like what you see?
Wow, amazing.
I just worked harder.
weather the storm, huh? That's life.
Thank you.
You didn't give it your all.
You're weak. I'll crush you down. Now you know your limits. No obstacle will stand.
As expected. Another step forward.
Witness my power. Now you know your limits. I must get stronger.
Predictable.
My efforts are paying off.
I owe ya. At least you're no coward. Can't wait for my next brawl.
You didn't give it your all.
You're weak. Is that all?
No use. I will win! I will not be stopping. I am greater now.
No obstacle will stand. You're weak. Is that all? Well, how was that? You're weak. I will prevail. Witness my power. It's a long road yet.
This is what I do.
I don't have time for failure.
Tattooing!
It could get rough.
I just worked harder. My efforts are paying off. You're in my way. Nighty-night.
Baby steps, I guess.
Is this a joke?
Thank you so much.
I have gratitude.
Thanks so much.
I am grateful.
Nice to see you, Yurikins. I was wondering if you might do me a favor.
You're looking a bit serious, Ladybird. Oh, your foot. What happened?
It's healing nicely, but I'm not supposed to put too much weight on it.
Ah, so that's why you've called me here. What do you need? Help with errands?
Not an errand, an opera.
I see.
There's been some loose plans for a performance. Nothing professional, strictly volunteer. I signed up to take part as one of the main roles. And then this happened. The professor told me I should bow out just to be on the safe side.
Makes sense to stay off your feet while you heal. Meanwhile, you want me to fill your role, right?
Got it in one. I'm glad we're on the same page here.
Surely someone else is up to the task. Professor Manuela, for example.
Already tried. Trust me, I wouldn't ask unless I was desperate. I knew how much you'd hate the idea.
Aside from hating it, I also wouldn't remotely sound like you do.
Oh, don't worry about that. Most of our audience won't be able to tell the difference. The crowd's going to be a bunch of down-on-their-luck children that the monastery's taken in. I'm only talking about a small festival in the plaza. We want to give them a good show, that's all. You have an idea of what they've been through. I thought you might want to pitch in.
I hear your angle. Fine, yes, I'll do it.
Good for you. I knew you'd rise to the occasion.
You certainly know how to pull heartstrings to get your way, don't you? Where did you learn to do that anyway? The opera?
Could be. I've never known a songstress who wasn't both beautiful and resourceful. Now, are you ready to go over the libretto? You've got a lot of rehearsing to do before the performance. Seriously, though. Thanks, Yurikins.
Yeah.
Happy! I've been looking everywhere for you.
What's going on? Something urgent?
Oh no, but I promised to tell you the rest of the Luna Knight's tale, remember?
Huh. I've forgotten all about that. If you really want to tell the story that badly, I guess just go ahead.
Okay, I will. Do you remember where I left off?
Well, you were telling me something about how the Luna Knight was hard on liars and cheaters.
Right. So her husband, Duke Regan, turns out to be a bit of a libertine.
That's hilarious. My favorite part was when she caught her husband in the act and tossed him out the window. I thought tales about knights were supposed to be straight-laced, but this one's raunchy as heck.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Usually these tales are pretty serious. But sometimes in a serious story, you need lighter moments like that to connect to the characters. It helps to see that even these great heroes made mistakes now and again. Just like us.
You're so trusting, Freckles. For some reason, I find it endearing. But you shouldn't take something at face value just because it's written down. The truth is, knights do plenty of things that aren't heroic at all. Things that hurt people.
You're not wrong. Some knights do terrible things. That doesn't make the great ones any less worthy of honor, though.
What about knights who have died taking a stand against the church? Would you call them great?
That's complicated.
Or what about the knights who put me in Abyss, promising to release me from my curse? When they couldn't, they left me there out of fear for what I might do. Does that sound honorable to you?
Abby, I'm so sorry.
Sorry. I can't help but say nasty things. Got any more stories for me? Maybe another racy one?
Yes, actually. I came prepared with the most, racy ones I could find, in case you happen to ask.
Of course you did. Let's hear one then.
Petra, you seem to be flourishing in your new environment. Is all going well for you?
Lady Edelgard, everything is well with me. Thank you for your question. Everyone shows great kindness, even while I am still learning about the language.
I'm glad to hear it. After all, a Brigid Royal like yourself is of vital importance to the future of the Empire. If you ever need anything, please let me know. It's my job to watch out for you after all.
If that is your want, I will rely on you if I have the need. However, I will not have that need. I can resolve any problems that occur by myself.
I don't doubt it. Perhaps I'm worrying too much. I just don't know what I would say to your family if something were to happen to you.
Do not spend your worry on me. In Brigid, there is a phrase we say. You cannot shoot two birds with one arrow. Brigid and I are that second bird. Your first target is your ambition. Can you disagree?
There is certainly truth in your words. I do have ambitions that transcend all else for me. When I ascend the throne, there are certain things I must do. Tell me, Petra, who do you think I am?
Huh?
I will tell you. I am Edelgard von Hresvelg, and yes, I'm attempting to do what no one else can. I'm prepared to shoot two birds, or even three, with a single arrow. That is the least of the impossible things I will accomplish. If you don't need my patronage, then prove it. Show me your power. Never settle for being the bird. Be the arrow instead.
I will take your words to my heart, and you will be seeing my power. I give you my promise.
I have success!
Perfect comprehension.
Was there ever any doubt?
That was a breeze.
The goddess's rite of rebirth is about to begin. Are we going to move forward with our plan?
I believe so. How confident are you in our theory, Professor?
No one's intuition is perfect. It's ridiculous not to have doubts.
All that matters is how our enemy makes their move, not how our teacher feels about the plan.
You seem a mite too relaxed for my liking. The goddess's rite of rebirth is about to begin. While we are in the goddess tower, we are relying on you to secure the locations that are lacking in defense.
May I let you in on something, Professor? My brother can be a bit callous. He told me that he was concerned about you, and hinted that perhaps you would be better off patrolling a coffin.
That was said in jest, Flame, and in confidence. Please just remain by my side and do not cause any more trouble. As a professor, you would do well to remember that it is your duty to guide your students down the path of righteousness.
Please excuse us, everyone. We shall see you again after the ceremony has concluded.
A coffin. How fascinating.
Hurry, Professor. We must find a place to hide where we can guard the stairs to the Holy Mausoleum. If the enemy moves as predicted, we should be able to cut off their escape path and capture every last one of them.
Thank you.
I am ever so grateful. I am grateful.
Thanks so much!
We were right. Unwanted guests have come to visit.
Those Central Church dastards have spotted us. Buy me some time while I open the seal on the casket.
I'm on it.
Our enemy appears to be after the tomb of Saint Seiros in the back. Are they attempting to steal her bones? It would be best to defeat them before they achieve their aim. Look closely. There are contraptions of some sort on the floor. We must pay attention to our enemy's weapons and advance while attacking them from advantageous positions.
Let me at him.
Leave it to me.
Sure thing.
Oh no.
Face it, I'm better than you.
Wow, amazing.
I will prevail.
Sally forth!
Stay focused.
I will get the victory. Yep.
Death Knight, prove your strength and scatter these fools.
I don't take commands, or waste my time on weaklings.
That knight is a powerful enemy. Let's do all we can to avoid him.
Nice try. This is what I do.
Who's next? Now that feels good.
Where you went wrong.
the storm, huh? All that blood and sweat was worth it.
Of course I won.
Adorable. Out of my way.
I will get stronger still.
You underestimated me.
Like moths to a flame. I told you that if you fled, I would not chase you. But it seems you wish to die.
There's no way around it. I accept your challenge.
Oh, this will be fun. I didn't expect to encounter someone like you. How fortunate.
Did I distract you?
Anywhere I can hide.
I never doubted you.
handle this. That shall do nicely.
Easy peasy.
I think I'm improving.
Be mindful.
Caution is needed.
I just worked harder.
The reinforcements haven't arrived? You're too late. The seal will be broken any minute now.
Well, how was that? I won't forget all I've learned.
It's no use. The seal is broken.
Is the intruder here? Oh, looks like you have this under control. You, round up any strap.
Will do.
As all of you have committed a breach of faith, the Archbishop will now pass judgment.
Inciting a kingdom noble to rebel. Unlawful entry. The attempted assassination of the Archbishop. An attack on the Holy Mausoleum. It is unnecessary to go on, followers of the West.
What? We have nothing to do with the Western Church.
You have already been identified. Please spare us your second-rate theater.
Dishonoring a holy ceremony is worthy of death for a member of the Church. You are well past the hope of redemption. If you have any grace remaining, you will willingly offer your life as atonement for this crime.
No! This isn't what we were told would happen! We've been deceived!
It's no use arguing. Whatever your excuse, the punishment stands.
May your souls find peace as they return to the goddess.
Wait! Please! The goddess would never forgive you for our execution!
Monster. We know you've already slaughtered many of our fellow brethren like this.
This concludes the investigation. Please remove these poor lost souls from my sight.
That's that, I suppose. The assassination attempt, the attack on the Holy Mausoleum. It was all the Western Church's doing. That masked knight who led the attack somehow managed to disappear without a trace.
The Church of Seiros clearly isn't as unified as it would hope to appear. It seems the bishop of the Western Church was always opposed to the church being ruled centrally from Garreg Mach. Perhaps they hoped to remove the Archbishop in order to completely strip the Central Church of its authority.
Oh, that's right. Geralt mentioned that you were raised without any exposure to the Church. In order to function more efficiently, the Church of Seiros is split into several smaller entities. The Central Church is the largest, and leads the organization from Garreg Mach.
The Western Church extends from Castle Gaspar, where Lord Lenato rebelled, into the far west. They can be found just beyond the most renowned stronghold of the kingdom, the fortress city of Aryan Road.
It seems the Knights have been tasked with subduing the leaders of the Western Church. We may be given the opportunity to help them with their mission.
To think, our own professor was born in Fodlan, and yet knew nothing of the Church. I never imagined explaining something so basic to an instructor of mine. You're something of a special case, are you not?
How strange that the Archbishop would ask someone like that to lead her students. There's clearly more to that decision than we know.
Lady Rhea is pretty scary sometimes. But to execute that whole group, just like that? It seems harsh, even for her.
If one of us does something bad, I wonder what she would do to us! Professor, do you agree with the Archbishop's actions?
There you are, Professor. It seems Lady Rhea would like a word with you. Come with me.
The Archbishop lives. Not that I had ever placed much faith in those swine from the Western Church.
I have news, both good and bad. The remains of Seiros were not in a tomb. However, something else was. The Sword of the Creator.
Ah, the weapon wielded by that thief, the King of Liberation.
Thief? Huh. At any rate, it is now in the hands of the Academy's new professor. I doubt you will be surprised to hear that the crest stone had already been removed from the sword when it was found.
As expected. It would be foolish to keep both in the same location.
There's more. The professor was able to awaken the sword's true power. Even without the crest stone, the sword glowed red. The professor's crest is compatible. There is no mistaking it.
Absurd. Using a relic without its crest stone should be impossible. The King of Liberation's bloodline should not even...
They must be allowed to keep it, for now. I do not have enough information about the professor to act. As for your request, I assent. The Death Knight is at your command. Use him well.
Good. I believe I will enjoy this a great deal.
I cannot thank you enough for defeating those invaders in the Holy Mausoleum, and especially for protecting the Sword of the Creator. That sword is one of the hero's relics, and the most precious artifact in the Church's possession. It is also a weapon of terrifying power. For now, I will entrust the sword to you. Please, use it wisely.
Lady Rhea, wait! Do you truly mean to give the Sword of the Creator to this stranger? Surely it is not the sort of thing one hands over so readily, even to someone who has the ability to wield it. If someone like Nemesis were to appear again, all of Fodlan would be consumed by war. Nemesis, the King of Liberation. He is an ancient king of mankind who was defeated by Seiros over 1,000 years ago. When Fodlan was attacked by wicked gods, it is said that the goddess gifted Nemesis with the Sword of the Creator. Nemesis used that sword to defeat the wicked gods, saving all of Fodlan. Henceforth, he was dubbed the King of Liberation. However, his power began to corrupt him until he himself turned to the darkness. Saint Seiros was forced to destroy him. Lady Rhea, I beg you to reconsider. Given a little more time, we could more accurately assess this stranger's abilities.
No. I have faith, Seteth. Faith that our friend here will not be corrupted by wickedness. Since the death of Nemesis, none have been able to wield the Sword of the Creator. Now, after all those long years of being sealed away, it has returned and found a new master.
I understand. As you wish, Lady Rhea. There you have it, Professor. See that you do not betray the trust the Archbishop has seen fit to bestow upon you.
The Sword of the Creator? The King of Liberation? Each tale is more confusing than the last. And I really can't read that Rhea at all. That sword is clearly precious. So why is she so keen to gift the thing to you? feel as though we have become entangled in a mystery. And there is one more thing that has been plaguing me. The Sword of the Creator. It somehow feels distinct from other relics we have seen. Such as the one that... Oh goodness, what was her name? Yes, her! The Sword of the Creator is different from her Thunderbrand in one key way. It bears a hole, where something should have been, but is no more. I despise not knowing what is going on. It frightens me. And yet, I place my trust in you. Whatever comes to pass, please swear to cut a path that is your own.
Part 1. White Clouds. Verdant Rain Moon. Tower of Black Winds. The ceaseless rains that satiate the verdant landscape of Fodlan are accompanied by fierce winds and mighty roars of thunder. This abundance of rain, sparkling as it falls against beams of emerging sunlight, is a constant reminder to the people of Fodlan that nature is ever wild and unpredictable. For when the rain finally does take pause, the clouds part and give way to a glorious rainbow.
I have a new mission for you, Professor. I would like for you to take your students into Kingdom territory to eliminate some thieves.
They stole a hero's relic from House Gautier of the Holy Kingdom of Fargus, the Lance of Ruin. Their leader's name is Miklan. He is apparently a disowned son of House Gautier. I believe it had something to do with his lack of a crest. Such happenings are fairly common within the kingdom.
The Crestless cannot unleash the goddess's power even if they possess a relic. Nonetheless, they are still capable of simply wielding those weapons.
The hero's relics are immensely powerful weapons. We must meet this threat with adequate force. Unfortunately, most of the Knights of Seiros are away from the monastery, purging the apostates of the Western Church. So we are entrusting you with this mission. After all, you wield the Sword of the Creator, which is more than capable of opposing any relic.
The Sword of the Creator is a powerful weapon well beyond the other relics. You have nothing to fear. However, to ensure that no harm comes to the students, we will also send the monastery's most skilled individuals to aid you.
I must remind you that you are expected to conduct yourself in a manner befitting the wielder of that holy sword. Also, you should know that Professor Hanneman has been looking for you. That is all.
Professor, I heard about our mission for this month. A thief with a hero's relic is worrisome, but with you at our side, I'm certain we can handle him. After all, you have the Sword of the Creator. It was allegedly wielded by Nemesis, the King of Liberation. If the legends are true, you hold the power to stand against entire armies. A band of thieves should be nothing. Even the most elite Imperial forces or the Knights of Seiros could not hope to defeat you. I'm just marveling at the potential. Besides, your power does not lie solely in the sword of the Creator. You are stronger and more terrifying than you realize. Professor, when we leave the monastery, will you still think of yourself as my teacher? Never mind. I'm being thoughtless with my words. For now, let's just focus on the problem at hand.
Good of you to come, Professor. I've heard much about you lately. Specifically, that you are able to awaken the sword of the Creator's power. Thusly, it seems the true nature of your crest has been uncovered. I had, of course, seen your crest before. However, at first, I failed to recognize its true nature. Eventually, it dawned on me that what is visible is perhaps merely a small part of a greater whole. In other words, your crest is too significant to be detected when using normal instruments. After this discovery, I began researching crests that might fit that description, which allowed for a temporary hypothesis. However, I could not be certain. The crest my conclusions led me to was far too unusual. A crest thought to have disappeared from this world in the millennium since the fall of Nemesis, the King of Liberation. The crest of flames. That is what you possess. Your ability to wield the sword of the Creator has unequivocally proven my hypothesis. A legendary power, dormant since time immemorial, and now resurrected. There can be no doubt that this ancient power resides within you.